Hello, and welcome to another video here with Club Danube. Today we are at Milford Sound in New Zealand, and we are going to be heading over to George River airstrip in New Zealand, of course. All right, so Milford Sound to George River airstrip in New Zealand is going to be today's journey. We are flying the Cessna 208B Grand Caravan EX, as you guys can see. And for today's flight, we'll be using the Bush Divers livery here, my livery of choice for bush diving flights. You can pick this up at flightsim.to. Show your support to the developers of this livery. Okay, so you can see the aircraft is a lovely looking aircraft. It's the default sober version that I'm flying today, without any additions apart from the livery, of course. I love how the livery, the silhouette of the trees and the bushes matches where we are and much of our flight for the day. Lovely, isn't it? Okay. We have the aircraft at cold and dark, and we're going to get this aircraft started up. Before we do, let's go outside and have a look at Milford Sound as an airstrip. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Milford Sound is a lovely looking airstrip, by the way. Got two helicopters there, NX Cub, a Cessna 172, I assume, and another Grand Caravan. A beautiful looking place in New Zealand here. Okay, let's go inside and we'll have a look at today's intended flight plan. Let me just open that up for you guys. Okay, here it is. So we'll be flying from Milford Sound. Well, that's where we are at parking number 1 in Milford Sound. We'll taxi along this route, which is potentially problematic, by the way. As you can see, I attempted to taxi here before. And unfortunately, the taxiway is kind of funny. There's some sort of glitch here, so we have to be careful when taxiing here. Otherwise, it crashes the aircraft. But anyway, we're going to taxi along this way, go towards runway 29. And at runway 29, we will take off towards the water here. It's called Milford Sound. This area of protected water here, like an inland lake, but it's not really a lake. More like a bay area. I don't know exactly what you call it, but we'll fly out over towards the water. It seems to be frozen today, but nonetheless, fly out straight over it, take a turn to the right, loop around, and then come back and fly over Milford Sound airstrip where we took off. Come along here, turn left into this valley here, and we will continue climbing to around 7,000 feet or 8,000 feet as we make our way past Mount Tutoko. We'll climb over here, and we'll continue our journey down this little valley here and over Lake Macquarie. We'll fly over Lake Macquarie. And right before we go into Jamestown, right before Jamestown, we'll take a hard right into this valley here, a nice little break in the mountains, towards Big Bay. And here in Big Bay, we will fly over the Big Bay beach strip. We'll not be landing there or performing a touch and go, but we'll just fly over Big Bay beach strip. Then we'll fly towards the coast, out towards the coastline, and we will hug the coastline. We'll hug the coastline and land into George River airstrip right into runway 04. It's a grass runway. It's a very beautiful place, nice scenery around it, but it's a very difficult landing at only 1265 foot. We have to come in really slow to land at George River airstrip. Okay, so let's now first take off from Milford Sound Airport or airstrip, whichever it is. And we will take it from there, ladies and gentlemen. Let me go ahead and hide the nav map for you guys. Okay, hopefully nav map is gone now. Let me just double check. Okay, excuse me while I double check that little nav map is no longer visible for you guys. Okay, let's now go ahead and program in our flight plan for the day. And we'll also get the aircraft started up from cold and dark. Without further ado, let's get inside and get to it. Okay, let's turn on our navigation lights so people know that we are in the aircraft as soon as the batteries go on. Can hide our yoke for the time being. Can put our fuel selectors left and right. Take the engine condition to high idle, the RPM lever to max. Let's go ahead and turn the batteries to on. Alternators remain on. Fuel switch pump can go to on. Ignition can go on. Avionics master switches can go on. And our beacon lights can go on. And starter engines can go to the start position. Let's have a look as the engine, the propeller spins up. We'll be able to hear the engine. Let's enjoy the sound, shall we? Okay, here we go. Propeller has begun spinning up. Let's listen to the sound, shall we? Okay, ladies and gentlemen, there we are. We've got our engine started up and we can see the exhaust gases over here. Very nice detail. I really like that. And let's head back inside quickly. Let's see. Alternators can remain on. Fuel switch pump can go to the automatic position. Ignition can go to automatic position. Starter engine can go to the off position. And yeah, beacon lights are on, and so are the nav lights. That's all we need for now. And let's go ahead and program in our flight plan for the day, which is quite simple. We are at NZMF or Milford Sound in New Zealand. That will be obviously our origin for the day. Okay. Let's go ahead and program that in. NZMF, Milford Sound. Let's enter that as our origin. Sorry, disconnect keyboard. Enter that origin. We're not going to bother with putting in a runway takeoff runway. No need for that. En route waypoint, we're only going to be using the NZQU or Big Bay Beach Strip, which is right here. That's the only en route waypoint we'll use today. So let's go ahead and program that in. NZQU Big Bay Beach Strip. Okay. Then our destination for the day will obviously be hold on. It'll be right here. NZQE, sorry. NZQE, there it is, George River Airstrip. Okay, we can enter that as well. Sorry, we can enter that as well. We will not bother with the runways. And that is our flight plan for the day, ladies and gentlemen. That's simple. Now, we're not actually going to be following this flight plan because we're not really going to be using the nav mode. We'll use the heading mode to fly the aircraft using autopilot, but we'll manually input the headings so we can navigate through the valleys more effectively here. All right? Because it is not a straight route all the way. Anyway, now that we have our flight plan, let's go ahead and turn on our flight director. Yaw dampers can go on in advance, and our altitude can be set all the way to 8,000 feet here. Okay, set it all the way to 8,000 feet. Because we're flying through the mountains, these peaks are quite high all around us. We'll also be required to fly literally over one of the mountains along the route, right about here. You can see it, that we have to jump over a quite high mountain. So we've got the altitude set, we've got yaw dampers on, flight director on. Okay, it is all looking good right now. Let's now go to the CDI source. We'll keep it on GPS, although we're not using it. We'll just keep it on GPS just in case we need it. The transponder, sorry, the transponder can actually go to on right now. And let's set, I think that's about it. Oh, yeah, we need to set the barometric pressure. We're using live weather, so just press B, 30.31, barometric pressure set. Altimeter has been calibrated. Okay, with that, we are ready for our taxi, and let's go ahead and turn on our taxi lights here. And yeah, here we go, right? Parking brakes can come off, and let us open the throttle slightly, turn the aircraft hard right. We're going in a little faster. Okay, and we will taxi onto runway 29. Okay, to our right, there's a helicopter right there to the left, sorry. We can drop our flaps to takeoff position. Yeah, we can drop our flaps here to takeoff position. There we go. Flaps have been dropped. Our landing lights can come on. Our taxi lights can go off. Let's turn this aircraft, shall we, onto the runway. Okay, as we turn onto the runway, let's go ahead and put the strobe lights to on. Let's line up with the runway before we turn on our heating. Okay, parking brakes can go to on here. Let's turn the pitot heat to on. Let's put our airframe de-ice to the normal position. As you can see, we're flying in icy conditions a little bit. Okay. De-ice mode is also in normal. Lights are all set. Flaps are set at takeoff position. Everything is looking good. Let's just set the heading to the runway direction course as well, even though we're not using it. Um, okay, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready for takeoff, and let's go ahead and get this up off the ground, shall we? Engines to half throttle. Engines are looking good. We release our parking brakes and takeoff thrust. All right. Bumpy runway, eh? There it is. It's a bumpy runway. Oh my goodness. Okay. We are up off the ground. There we go. Look at that. We have frozen water right ahead of us and a cruise ship that is clearly in the wrong place. But anyway, let's put the flaps up slightly and turn to our right slightly as well. And New Zealand, this area of New Zealand is full of valleys that seem open, but then in the end they lead you into these walls if you follow them, just like the one to our left. So if you go down that valley happily thinking you found yourself aware of the mountains, you'll be shocked when you're faced with a giant wall of a mountain that goes up very steeply. The entire area is full of these unique formations. So interesting here, and I've gotten myself into trouble many times flying over this area of New Zealand. Anyway, let's now begin our turn over the water as we look at this ship that's clearly in the wrong place here. First of all, I don't think it comes down this inland. Second of all, it's stuck in the ice. Lovely looking ship though, it has a lot of detail, doesn't it? Yeah, but anyway. Let's continue our flight here. Make the turn a little bit harder. Yeah. Okay. There it is. And right ahead of us is Milford Sound, the airport or airstrip where we took off from. We go to autopilot mode now. Go to VS. We can start our climb slowly. Now I'll use heading mode to fly the aircraft from here on out. Okay. Just turn over onto the airstrip where we took off from. There it is. Milford Sound, ladies and gentlemen. How lovely does all this look? Look at that. Beautiful. Another valley down to our left here. Okay, Milford Sound under us, and we have, there it is. Let's go outside and have a look, shall we? Oh, I should turn the aircraft. Let's turn out into this valley here. Make sure we don't crash, eh? Go outside, have a look. Look at that. Lovely. Okay, let's get back inside, get on top of our heading here. So this is the valley we'll be following off to our left, and I'm just making sure that we are climbing out here to 8,000 feet because at the end of this valley, okay, as you can see from nav map, at the end of this valley, we have a mountain that we need to climb up out of. Okay, I'll hide nav map now. I thought I hid this. I always lose track of whether or not I'm showing the nav map or not. I need to get more used to this. Anyway, it's my new format for showing you guys the route along which we're flying. But anyway, how lovely does all this look, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, we'll fly along this route here. Obviously, we've gone in too close to the mountains, so we'll fly a little out, but this is lovely, isn't it? Very, very nice. Okay, we should probably give it a little bit more of throttle here. We're flying at a very low airspeed. Let's go ahead and crack open the throttle now. Okay, let's go outside. How beautiful does that look? The valley we are flying through right now. See, you would think that if you got into a valley like this, you'll eventually find your way out of the mountains, but no. You'll run yourself into a giant rise of mountains is what you'll do. Okay, let's use the heading to fly towards our left here as we attempt to climb out right here. We'll climb out of the valley right here. And then we will continue our journey towards Big Bay Beach Strip. This heading mode is acting a little funny. I can't seem to get it right. Okay. Anyway, we'll be fine whichever way we cross over the mountains, but this one is a little lower than that. So ideally we should be using this little portal here. Okay. There we go. Sorry about the wobbliness. I think there's a bit of wind today, isn't there? But anyway. We should increase our VS and open our throttle more because otherwise we will not make it up out of that mountain. So just to make sure we make it out, I'm just going to open the throttles to full position. Yeah. Okay. Again, how lovely does this look? Look at that. Beautiful. Stunning stuff here. That is the mountain we are attempting to climb over. Will we make it is the question, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see soon. Okay, let's get back into the cockpit. Make sure we're on top of things. Okay, we're not going to make that, are we? We got to push the our VS up. Turn the aircraft slightly over to the right here. So we can pass through that gap, the lowest point that I can see ahead of us. Let's see how this will play out, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I think we'll make it now. Yeah, we should be able to make it now. Why is it going that side? Let's turn it one more time towards our right here. Okay, our airspeed is a little low, but we will make it just outside. Look at that. Just about made it. Okay. Let's now turn hard to our right. And we'll follow this valley this side. Let's do an altitude hold mode right now. Now that we've made it out of that predicament. Look at that. We can now turn into this valley here. And fly towards the lake that we're trying to see. Lake Macaro, I believe. Macaro? Yeah, Macro. Is it called Macro? I am not sure. It's right off to our left. And let us also descend down now. We'll go down all the way to roughly 3,000 feet. Okay, let's put on our VS here. Let's go straight down. Cut the throttle so we don't overspeed here. But let us head straight down as we fly over Lake Mackerel. Is it Macro or Mackerel? I am not sure, but one or the other. Go outside, have a look, shall we? Look at this. How lovely does that look? Incredible. Beautiful views here. Okay, we should turn more onto the lake using our heading here. Okay, we're flying quite fast right now. Cut the throttle a little. Actually, you know what? We'll allow the aircraft to fly that quickly. It's fine. So, there we go, ladies and gentlemen. Flying over Lake Macro or Mackerel. Frozen over, as you can see. There's a nice little dividing line there where apparently the snow line also ends nearby. Lovely. We'll have a look at that as we get closer in. We're descending down right now to 3,000 feet. And we'll turn, you see this valley right here behind this hill, that's where we'll turn right. Continue on our journey towards Big Bay. Straight ahead of us should be Jamestown. So what we'll do is we'll turn right into this valley and we'll head out into Big Bay. We'll fly over Big Bay beach strip. Our speed is very, very quick. That's fine for us, but we should probably pay attention to it. Throttle it down. Let's go outside and have a look at this lovely view where the ice meets the water. Liquid water. How lovely is that? Look at this. It's brilliant, isn't it? It is absolutely brilliant. Okay. Bush Tiger's livery there. Beautiful stuff. Incredible. Okay, let's head back into the cockpit, have a look at what is happening. Our speed has now dropped because we've reached 3,000 feet. We can actually now we can actually fly at 2,500. So let's go down a little bit more to 2,500, shall we? And let's actually begin our turn into this valley. Okay, we'll do that right here. Begin turning into Big Bay, where we'll fly over the beach strip that is present there. Once again, we'll not be performing a landing or touch and go. Okay. We've turned into the valley. Let's just fine tune our heading a little bit more. We're at 2,500 feet. We should probably, 2,500 is okay. Yeah, it's okay. We'll descend down to 2,000 soon, but for now this altitude is fine. Let's have a look at this view, shall we? Look at where the snow line ends. Look at this. On one side of the tail we've got snow. On the other side it's just a luscious green. How lovely is that? Look at this. Right here, where the snow ends. This looks incredible in contrast, doesn't it? Beautiful, beautiful stuff. On one side, luscious green. On the other, snow. Okay, ladies and gentlemen. Continue down the valley towards the Big Bay area. And let's head back into the cockpit here. Fine-tune our heading a little bit more. Our altitude can now go down to 2,000 feet, and let's set the VS so we descend down to 2,000 feet here. Okay. Incredible. Let's go outside and have a look at how this looks. Hopefully we won't go too low. I think we should just hold altitude here. Yeah, let's hold our altitude here. Fine tune our heading as we come into Big Bay. This is the Big Bay area that we are coming into, ladies and gentlemen. So there it is, Lake Mackerel, or Mackerel behind us. And we are coming on to Big Bay right there, ladies and gentlemen. That is Big Bay right there. Okay. So let's head back into the cockpit, shall we? Big Bay to our left. There it is, Big Bay. And that is the beach strip right there. There isn't much to see. It's very hard to make out anyway. We'll just turn towards it, fly over it. That is apparently an airstrip, yeah? It's a Big Bay beach strip where you can easily land a Cessna. But we won't be doing that for today because we have a more difficult destination in our mind. That is the George River airstrip. It's not an easy place to land into, ladies and gentlemen. Attempted it a few times and it is not an easy place to land into. So yeah, let's see how we fare at a George River airstrip. This right here is the Big Bay beach strip, in case you're wondering. As you can see, it's just a building or two right here and that's about it. There isn't much else over there. If that's what you're wondering about. Look at that. Is the Big Bay. You can see out the window. Lovely, isn't it? Beautiful flight. Okay. There it is. The beach strip. And now let us continue towards we'll turn slightly out towards the bay area. Slightly, just slightly. And then we'll come back in, hug the coastline as we attempt our landing into George River airstrip. Okay? Very well. Here we are turning out over onto this land here. You can see I love this. Where the snow ends, it just looks incredible to me. Anyway, we continue here, ladies and gentlemen. We'll soon have to take manual control of the aircraft. As you can see, George River airstrip has come into our view here. That is where we are landing. We're just going to hug the coastline over here. We can cut across over here, but we'll hug the coastline along the way towards George River airstrip. Especially towards the end, we'll have to perform a turn maneuver to land into a George River airstrip from this direction. That'll be interesting, wouldn't it? Okay. Here we are. Let us now turn hard right and hug the coast. We should also set our altitude at 1,000 feet. Hard right. VS engaged. And let's go down, ladies and gentlemen. The beach here looks incredible. It always looks incredible here. It's not exactly beach, but rather the coastline. Okay, we'll drop down to 1,000 feet here. Cut down the throttle a little bit. Fly along this heading, hugging the coast. Yeah, we should drop a little quicker here. Cut the throttle to allow us to drop even faster. There we go. Right around this slope that you're seeing is the George River airstrip, and you know what? I'm in half a mind to take manual control right about now. As a matter of fact, that's what I'll do. I'll take manual control right about now and we'll fly manually from here on out, okay? Alright, let's take manual control. Autopilot disconnected. We'll slowly descend down towards the coastline. I want to be even closer to it. Okay. Let's put our flaps down for landing. It will push us up so we can trim early to counteract the flaps here. Let's see how the aircraft behaves now. Okay. Still likes to ascend here, doesn't it? Okay. Now we're doing okay. A little bit more of trimming here. Apart from that, Okay, we have to be at around roughly 70 knots maximum to be able to come to a full stop at George River Airstrip. So let's see how this goes, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see how this goes, shall we? Okay, shall trim up a little bit more.
500.
500. Okay. Look at that lovely, lovely forest to our right here. Looks so good, doesn't it? George River Airstrip is pretty difficult landing for me. I don't know about you guys. If you have ever tried to land in there, do try it with a Cessna 208. It is more difficult than it looks. Lovely. I can't get enough of the forest, but at the same time, I have to focus on this landing here. Okay. There it is. It's dead ahead of us. I have visual on the airstrip. And you guys will see it in a bit. It's very difficult to spot from here, but I have visual on it. Okay, let me slow down a little bit more. A lot of rocks along this area here. Okay. I have to watch my airspeed as well. Let's turn on our... Okay, our landing lights never went off. Okay, that's fine. Our landing lights are now on. Oh my goodness, here we come in to land at the infamous George River Airstrip. Well, it's only infamous for me, so... Look at how lovely this looks to our right. But anyway, let's focus on the landing, shall we? Okay, it's dead ahead of us, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, there it is. There it is. Speed is okay. And let's put this aircraft down, shall we? All right. We have come to a complete stop here at George River Airstrip here. Can go a little bit forward. I don't want to push it. Let's put our flaps back up. Okay. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We have made it into George River Airstrip. Of course, that wasn't the smoothest of landings, but I'm just glad that I managed to land here with this aircraft. Okay. Our parking brakes are on. Look at that. Look at how lovely it looks though. Look at the rocks out here. Look at that. It's so beautiful here. Such a beautiful place. And we have the flag flying. Let's have a look at that landing replay if we can. And unfortunately we can't. Sorry about that, guys. Sometimes the landing replay tool, it crashes, so there's nothing I can do about that. But anyway, there it is. We have made it successfully into the George River Airstrip. I hope you guys enjoyed that flight. Let's just quickly go ahead and shut down this aircraft as well. Why not, right? Let's put this propeller to 0. Engine condition, we'll put it to cutoff. We'll feather the propellers here as well. We will put ignition to off. Fuel switch pump to off. Alternator, we'll trip it. Battery off. Ignore the logbook. Avionics masters to off. All our lights can go off. And the de-ice can go off as well. Fuel selectors to off. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We have made it into George River Airstrip. Look at how lovely this place looks. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. Look at how lovely this place looks. Look at this, man. Wow. Right, we can see George River right here. That, by the way, is the George River. Look at how lovely this scenery looks. Incredible, isn't it? So beautiful. Wow. So beautiful here. With that, I hope you guys enjoyed today's flight. If you did, please leave a like. Consider subscribing to my channel, please. It helps me out. And yeah, plenty more videos to come. And I hope you enjoyed today's video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one, guys.